So, last time on the Dragon of Harvestshield Mountain, you met the Dragon of Harvestshield Mountain.
We had a lovely time, and it went away, and everything was fine.
Everything was
It was a big dance party.
Yeah.
It was a rave.
Cool, so let's pick up at the end of the rave. It was not fun. The bell tolled for whom it tolled for the... And the dragon was attacking the Jontea Citadel, where you are currently finding yourselves. Muraliette, the leader of Jontea Citadel, a hobgoblin who is definitely fine. Everything's fine, nothing to worry about there.
Why do you keep saying?
They're just making sure that you're all aware.
Everything's fine.
Everything's absolutely fine. Like Lariel's absolutely fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about there either. So... Anyway, Muraliette took Naomlen and Halbernet to take part in defending the Citadel by controlling one of the ballista they were using to fire ballista bolts at the dragon, which Naomlen immediately fell in love with. It's basically just a large crossbow, that doesn't make sense. As they were prepping over there, Shivareth and Thomas were taken to the armory of the keep, which contained at one point a dragon's hoard, so potentially some quite nice things there. And Thomas got the Warriors Duo, a rather excellent sword and shield combo, which we might see used at some point today. Who knows? Who can say?
I also importantly picked up a spear, which Thomas threw later. It was not relevant at the time, but it just came in handy.
It did.
I didn't, because I couldn't throw it, because you can't throw a spear, apparently.
You can't. You can't throw it 100 feet.
Oh.
Did I?
You wanted to throw it.
Yeah, I did throw it.
You wanted to throw it, but you said if it's under 20 feet, it's disadvantage throws, so there was all sorts of stuff going on there. Anyway, rules happen.
Yes.
In the meantime, Corey had a very, very clever idea to distract the dragon from attacking the citadel and murdering lots of people by putting some of its hoard into wheelbarrows, living outside the front of where its hoard used to be, this sort of it looks like an arena, but it's a place where cattle and livestock will be sold and bought and sold.
And I believe we did some sort of what I can only describe as like floral arranging
You did,
to make it look enticing.
You had a very good plan to make the dragon come in, take what it needed, and go away, which seemed like the best idea rather than fighting it. However, then everyone decided to start fighting it.
They're called auction halls, Chris.
Auction halls, that's the one.
Auction
hall, yeah, but it's an auction hall, but it's very large, it looks a bit like a stadium.
Yeah.
I thought they were hobgoblins.
Who?
That was a terrible... I'll go.
That was good.
It was too good. Yeah, I just didn't get
it. It was awkward.
Hey.
What is going on? What is going on?
Well, it's bad when I start winning.
We're all channeling the spirit of Nile.
Yes.
Anyway, a wall of force was used so that people would be safe from the potential dragon's breath. Nile!
He's got control of its classes now. That was amazing for some reason. If you could do that again. That was lovely.
Anyway, they used a wall of force to try and...
I used a wall of force.
Hey.
Yes, Shivari used a wall of force to try and protect everyone.
It's my new fifth level spell. I'm very proud.
A wall of force smell. Now there's an idea.
That's what's happening. It creates a large smell.
Amazing.
Anyway, once this lot have calmed down from being silly buggers, the wall of force was used to try and protect them from the dragon. The ballista was fired at the dragon. Hal fired a guiding bolt at the dragon at one point as well. There was an awful lot of, are we trying to fight this thing or are we trying to make it go away? The dragon then annihilated the tower that Naomlen and Hal were on with its breath weapon and knocked them both unconscious with a single hit, I think.
Yes.
Like, it was bad. It was really,
not
really
a good
bad.
idea. Yeah.
Luckily,
all these things.
Luckily, Muraliette survived and managed to heal, I believe, Hal, who then just about managed to heal everyone. There was low-level healing happening, except it wasn't enough because you kept being on fire. It was basically a sort of death cycle was happening, at which point Corey, Thomas, and Shivareth realized the dragon was going to be attacking them. Thomas drew the dragon back using an intimidation check, but for my mind, it's the in-game taunt thing that Thomas does in Warriors of Waterdeep, because it was great.
It was awesome.
The dragon attacked Thomas. Shivareth teleported away to go on top of this burning tower to try and save their friends. And I think
teleported Thomas out of the dragon's hand.
Yes,
that was
it was quite a cool move as well. That's correct. So I believe where we're ending up is the four of you on top of this burning tower, which didn't collapse. Very important. We all thought it would, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. So the four of you are on top of it, and Corey, you're still back in the auction hall with the horde. That's the
Oh,
horde
well,
of the Dragon's
importantly-
Horde, not the horde of hobgoblins and goblins and bugbears. They're all in the place.
Importantly, we at Shivareth did the communication spell, so we all basically had walkie-talkies.
You still have
yeah.
walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rary's
telepathic.
telepathic bond is still active.
That was vital. Okay.
You're right,
Synchronized our watches and then touched our ears.
It was really useful when we were all like telling each other we didn't know what to do. It was very helpful.
You'd
think we'd have been able to communicate.
The four of you are on top of this tower. That the fire is starting to slowly die down. The dragon is flying away. You can see it flying up the mountain and away from you, but you'll lose sight of it before too long. It's very, very clean. Hal and Nermlin, I believe you're awake, you're conscious, but very badly burned.
Very badly burned. But
Can I? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Can I watch the dragon for as long as I possibly can
Sure.
to see where it goes? And is it further than, say, an arcane I could follow? I can't cast it, but I want to see where it's going to see if I could potentially do that in the future.
It wings its way up the mountain. The citadel is built into the side of the mountain, not at the top of it by any means. Sort of, above you is quite a lot of stone and rock and crenellation. The mountain does continue upwards. You can keep an eye on it, but it will fly out of sight relatively quickly. Dragons are also extremely fast.
Okay.
Yeah. Fly speed of 80.
Yes, it is very
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Corey, you are by yourself. Your friends have all run away, teleported off, and you are with the horde. Anything particular that you want?
I think Corey is just going to plonk herself down on the floor and just sit there, kind of look around her. How do the horde look? Do they look like...
Oh, no, it's the horde.
Normal?
It's the treasure horde, not the horde of people.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm with you.
I think it's a much better position to be in.
In which case, no, I'm sorry. Now I realise that Corey's magpie sense
Ooh.
would only leave her momentarily.
Mhm.
Is there anything sort of pretty or like culturally interesting?
Roll me an investigation check.
I like this idea. I want to take back a souvenir. I like this plan.
Belongs in a museum.
That's a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
So, looking around, a lot of the gold and gems around here, as previously described, are have been, for one reason or another, started to be piled up in place. There's lots of piles of gold where the gold has been sort of loosely stacked in places, and there are piles of gems. There are piles of what look like objets d'art and things like that. There's been the beginning of sorting, but you get kind of like, there's just so much stuff, because it is still like a good 1/8 of this space is still full of gold and gems and other things. If you start looking around, though, what does catch your eye is there is a rather beautiful gold inlaid book that sits rather invitingly just off to one side. There's an exclamation mark above it and a kind of, you should definitely look at this.
Oh, look at me, I have a book.
I would like to go and look at it, go as if to open it, and remember Shavara telling me off about the ring. And so not opening it and kind of just staring at it to get a sense of, will this thing kill me if I open it?
To be fair, I was telling you off because I was cross with myself. So
Inlaid into the front cover is a mirror.
That's me.
You wrote this book? You didn't even know? Amazing.
And underneath it, in quite a flowing script, is written a word. It's a name. Cielaro.
It was going to be see you later.
Cielaro. It's a name.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that.
that's a deep hint for those Waterdeep fans.
I feel like the curiosity at this point is too much to bear, and I do really want to open it.
Go for it.
Open it.
Okay.
Go for it.
You open it. It's a diary. Cialaro, this book is looking at it. This book is looking at the dates on it. This book is quite old, a couple of 100 years old. And Cialaro is a minor noble living in the Citadel. And she describes what life was like in the Citadel and writes lots of nice notes about spending time adventuring. She was clearly a bit of a tearaway and would go down into the Vale and have some fun adventures and things like that.
She must be an adult now. Yeah, if she was a minor noble, she'll probably be an adult noble now.
I will.
Were you hurt by the puns that you weren't part of? Were you just waiting?
It was more like... It was more like it was, you know...
Yeah, well done. What in the book is there about Shantea?
Oh, quite a lot. Cialara talks quite a bit about Shantea. She's a little dismissive. Like, oh, Shantea's like the person, and Shantea being this goddess of fertility and agriculture. To Cialaro, it all feels a little bit pedestrian.
Oh.
Like a sort of common god. Like the tone that comes through for Cialaro is a little bit like, seems a little bit, you know.
Thomas?
Thomas is not there. You are by yourself.
Telepathic.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas?
Curry, we got them. They're alive just about. Are you right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, I was reading a book. I found like a kind of interesting artifact here. There's a lot of stuff in here about Shantea. It's not all complimentary, but I wondered if it might like interest you to read.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have it waiting down here for when you get down.
Thanks.
In the meantime, on the burning tower.
Brilliant.
The tower is no longer. It is still somewhat on fire, but it's no longer like about to collapse in on itself. Moriette is with you. Hal and Neomlin are both clearly quite badly hurt and just holding it together. What would the four of you like to do?
Leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Post haste.
Neomlin was opening the trapdoor, which was fine, and the tower didn't collapse. You can all climb your way down through the tower. As you go, Moriette is shouting orders to all of the bugbears and hobgoblins that were up here are all dead. Is shouting various orders down into the streets where there are people running around with buckets of water, putting out various other fires. The whole place is in panic mode, trying to deal with the after effects of the dragon attack.
I don't suppose... I'm ashamed to say I didn't write it down myself. I'm pretty sure I set off Ring of Long Life. Did everybody get back everything from that? And can I set it off again, please?
How many uses does it have?
3.
3 per day. What I will say to make our lives easier, if we don't have it written down, do you have your current hit points?
Yes.
What is it?
25.
Niall, do you have the current hit points?
6.
It sounds like Niall didn't use the Ring of Long Life then because it would have done more healing over time. In which case, Niall, put your hit points up to 10 because I am a generous DM. And if you want to activate it again, then everyone can be healing. Moriette is also burned quite badly, but still standing.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's hang on, all allies in a 30-foot radius. So I'm going to roll it. Oh,
it's Moriette's an ally. How nice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see. They are certainly going to be treated. Sorry, what's their pronouns?
Him.
Sorry?
Him.
Yeah. So he will be treated as such until there's significant evidence otherwise. I expect it not to be long coming, but... So for this many rounds, what are you doing? There we are. That's less good. So it's only 2 damage for the next... Oh, wow. Okay, you get 2 damage extra back. That's it.
It's going to be duff rolls sometimes, and this was a duff roll.
Oh, yeah, no, that was not
Everyone
good.
gets 2 hit points at the start of their turn, which is now because we're not doing initiative.
Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, Hal's not in the best way, right? They're a bit distracted.
What do I do now? Click. Ooh, that hurt. Yeah, I think that's basically what's happened. But everyone does get
like
2 hit points.
Thomas would be kind of helping Naomlin
Yes.
along, and we'll just turn and give her the restoration flask.
Oh, nice.
Like, here.
Wow.
That might be what you gave to me last time, which is why I'm so high.
Could be.
It was a
I
question
think you healed yourself a bit.
Oh, fine. But what I mean is, so long as the healer is healed, then hopefully everything's going to be okay.
It's every turn. You can use it every turn, I think, can't you, Nat? Or is it
I was going to say, is the healer's flask like a limited use?
3 per
I
day.
have 3 charges per day.
And there are
Oh, in
2.
that case, yeah, I'll take some.
Swig it back.
So there's 1 left.
And it's wait, why doesn't it say?
It does say.
Oh, 1d8. I could not read for a second. 1d8 hit points
Oh,
per swig, so feel free to have all 3 swigs.
There's only 2 swigs left if Hal had 1 last time.
I think I did.
But this is what I'm saying, I don't...
If you didn't write it down, then Hal didn't
Remember.
have 1 last time. It's fine.
so is that 3 swigs?
3 swigs.
I rolled it now, it's too late. Ah, shit.
But it's quite begrudgingly handed over. It's like, right, this is business, I'm carrying you. Here, have some of this.
Yes, get yourself back in order.
I think Nolan's like, cheers. Boop, 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 and then gives you it back.
How many hit points do you get?
8.
Good start.
8 total. Great.
Oh, 8
total.
Right. The 4 of you managed to make your way down to the ground level, going through this tower.
Can I? Oh, how long will it take us to get back to the to where Corey is?
You're about 100 feet away, going back, walking your way up.
Is Mollier coming with us?
Moliette is going to look around the 4 of you and go, if you could help in some way, we'd appreciate it. There are people running up and down the streets bringing buckets of water. There's shouts and screams from various towers.
Albert will will potentially suggest. I am a healer. I could go amongst the fallen if that would be helpful.
Please, if you could. Anyone else lifting things?
Thomas is holding Naomlin up and kind of looks at her in a, you gonna be alright?
Nolan like automatically sort of like gets off of you so that you can go be more useful somewhere else.
I'm just going to go somewhere where people aren't going to ask me to lift things.
Why don't you go
Do you
check in
not
on
have
Corey?
Any magic that can lift things?
No.
You can bring
If you
more
want
buildings
something broken, that I can do.
It might be necessary if something's fallen on someone. It might be necessary.
Well, that's where Thomas is there to lift things.
All right, if you prefer. Looks at Thomas and Hal, and looks across at Neomlin and doesn't ask.
Cheers.
Easier.
If we come across a situation where we think you'll be useful, Shavaris, we can...
You can let me
can
know,
let you
but
know.
all I'm saying is, if the dragon comes back, it would be more useful to be able to scare them off again with the
It
magic
won't come back now.
than to,
It never comes back.
magic missile a log off someone.
It won't come back now. It takes a long time to come back. Usually a couple of weeks, if not longer. It tends to lick its wounds.
Under normal circumstances, these were not normal circumstances.
Right, good point. Right.
I'll just be over there.
Ronnie will grab hold of the necklace that he wears, and Corey, the 2 helmed horrors, will just start walking out of here. They were guarding back here. 2 large animated suits of armor will just walk out of this arena space, this auction hall.
You seem discombobulated, Anna. What's happened?
What? Corey, wait, what? There's suddenly suits of armor?
They were there all along. They didn't get involved in the fighting because they have no ranged attacks.
Fine, okay. So Corey's just like... Fine. Keeps reading.
Chris,
Yeah.
I would like to take this opportunity to go and try and find out more information about Rollier while he's distracted. I have invisibility, which I can cast on myself and potentially Noemlin. But
That's something the 2 of you are welcome to discuss.
Kinky.
telepathically to Noemlin. I know you're not super well right now, although frankly you're standing up, so you're doing fine. Do you make that face?
I feel like Nolan's just sort of like heading towards Corey, and then there's like just listening to what you're saying.
Right. This is probably
like deadpan, because you're clearly talking to her telepathically for a reason.
This is probably our best opportunity to find out what is happening here, aside from what people are telling us, which I'm not sure I believe. I'm imagining you probably don't believe people either, necessarily. Face value. Not always the truth. Anyway, do you want to come with me while I go look at things? You don't have to. I will just go on my own if you don't come.
Where are you going?
Everywhere.
My only issue with this plan is that we could be searching for ages in the wrong place. I would suggest that we go back to Corey, and she points towards the Horde. If there's anything that he's hiding, it's probably in there.
All right, let's go look there then. We can.
And it's a very subtle point to the Horde. It's like
we can be invisible while we do it.
I don't think anybody's going to really... And she looks around and there's just like people on fire.
Not people on fire. It's not quite like people on fire is not around here. There's people running around trying to be helpful. All the hobgoblins and guards all look very like busy. They have something to do. As over this conversation, 2 animated suits of armor just come running past the street, past you. You've seen them before.
All right, let's go have a look.
Yeah, Nolan's like, well, that's clearly... Yeah, whatever they were protecting us.
Unguarded. Let's go.
Stay safe.
Can I make an insight check in terms of like where I think this sort of setup would hold Morelia properly? Does that make sense? Like looking around at the town setup and the goblinoid encampment, could I potentially think, right, Morelia set up shop over there?
Can I try and make the same roll with investigation to kind of see if we can combine forces?
Insight tends to be how to read a person, and you're not reading a person, you're reading a sort of situation, a town. So that would be either investigation or perception, with investigation being more of a taking a look around, and that would take sort of looking around, moving around, exploring. Perception being more of a, oh look, there's a building over there.
Oh, okay. My perception's pretty good in fairness, so like I could percept and you could investigate.
Yeah. It's quite a good combo actually.
We are walking. We have been walking around. Like we have seen quite a lot of this. So if I roll investigation and Namlin rolls perception,
fine. Yeah.
Namlin is walking towards Kari though.
Yeah, we're heading. Back up.
Heading back to the.
We're looking as we walk.
Yeah.
Oh Lord!
I've rolled a 32.
There we go. Wow.
No, it's a 19.
Oh my god.
That's amazing. You rolled a 32 and you didn't roll a natural 20. That's so impressive.
I rolled a 13.
Could be worse.
It was a 2. I rolled a 2.
Exactly. Good God. Yes.
Now, as previously discussed, there isn't like this citadel. You'd expect there to be a sort of military-style castle somewhere or something similar. But having looked around the space and looked at all of this, there doesn't appear to be. It looks like all power was maintained by different places. There wasn't really much of a military presence. These towers individually are quite impressive in and of themselves. So it almost seems like there were probably military might contained in these sort of guard towers around the space. But in terms of like this is where the nobles lived, there's not like one big house or one big like thing you can look at apart from this massive stadium-style auction hall. Shavarith, with a 32, you travelled into the bowels of this massive space to look around the back of it for the armory that was kept earlier. You'd be very, very surprised if Moliette's quarters or where he tends to stay weren't somewhere in that area, tucked away in the back of this space.
I think you're right. Like, given that there isn't an obvious castle, we went down into the armory earlier, so there could be rooms off that we could go and have a look at. We can pick up Corey on the way.
Like a good plan.
Right, well, Shivareth Neomlin, as you make these plans, you step back into the auction hall and Corey is sat there reading a book. I presume that the wall of force you have either dropped or can show Neomlin around without Neomlin sort of walking, banging off the door.
I presume I would have dropped it because it's...
Concentration.
I think you did drop it anyway.
I mean, I haven't cast anything else concentration, but there's no reason to keep it up. The dragon has gone away, so...
Then in which case, if you drop it, you can walk straight in, and Corey is sat there reading a book. Corey, as you read on, you've reached a point where Cialara gets really, really excited about something that her boyfriend, Elchan, who also goes on adventures with her and seems to be a right rakish sort, if you know what I mean. He has been reading up about someone called Belarath. And Belarath was another noble who was in the Harvestshield mountain, was part of the Jontea Citadel, and tried to foment an uprising. And it's all very...
Say that again, I'm so sorry.
Tried to foment an uprising.
I thought you said something about opera, but it's okay. No, continue, as you were.
Whatever this drink is, we're really excited.
There was an opera about an uprising. No, decided to wanted to form an uprising against the Citadel. Felt like it was being mismanaged and mishandled, and there was actually a bit of fighting, a bit of a civil war. And he ran away into Harvestshield Mountain, into one of the tunnels. And Cialara is very excited because Elchan thinks he's discovered clues that could lead them to discovering more about Belarath, and she's clearly very excited about this potential expedition they're going.
Cool.
Obviously, Thomas did not read any of this, but for Nat's benefit, making notes. That's Cialara, she, her, Elchan, he, him, and Belarath, he, him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cialaro, she, her.
Oh, Cialara. Notes.
Okay.
Anyway, while you're reading this, and it's really grippingly, because it's a diary, it's got that kind of, because it's a diary, it has that kind of, what's going to happen next?
What's going to happen next?
I feel like I'm sort of living in this person's shoes because I'm getting every moment of
Dear diary, today I went to the Citadel shop.
Today we had an uprising.
That's not what my diaries are like. My diaries are like, today I ate some pasta, and I walked, and I slept.
Do you not do a diary?
God, I don't. No, I just.
Dear diary.
No, I just write at the beginning of each one of my entries. I've just read back a few entries in this, and I'm such an idiot.
You told us this not too long ago.
Mrs. Fiona Charming. Mrs. Fiona Charming.
But yeah, the tone of it is still very sort of excitable and friendly, but a little bit up herself. But yes, as you're reading this, Nolan and Shivareth enter the auction hall.
Hey, are you okay? You okay?
I'm absolutely fine. Nomlin is standing. Definitely
It's a really
standing.
good book. You should try it.
I love books. I'd love to read it.
Yeah, you should. It's about this woman, and she lives here, and she thinks some things about Jontea, and then her boyfriend, who's like a bit he sounds kind of hot, to be honest. He and her go adventuring together, and then he's not happy, so there's an uprising. It's really good. You should read it.
Could we pull you away from it for maybe 10 minutes?
Sure. Is there somewhere to put the book that is safe?
In your pocket.
I didn't know if the book was bigger than if the book was human size or gnome size or.
The book is it's a pocket diary, so it's a normal size book to a gnome.
Okay, great. So yeah, straight in the pocket. Yep, where are we going?
You've been a lookout before.
What?
Have you been a lookout before?
A lookout. Interesting.
I mean, not really, but I can try.
Great.
Enthusiastic amateur.
You'll be good at it. We're gonna go sneak in to Moriet's personal space, and if they come back, if anybody starts coming back, I want you to just be as loud as possible and as distracting as possible so that it doesn't matter how far inside we are, we'll hear you.
Okay, and should there be a code word?
You could also telepathically just let us know that someone is there while you're being loud and distracting, and then we'll,
That's not nearly as fun.
What if the spell wears off? What if I need a code word?
It's not going to wear off, but the code word could be,
Could be
blue.
Blue. Okay, cool.
This party definitely works beautifully.
Why are you looking at it like that, Newman? Like, shut up.
No one's just be like, I call over. And just like pats out a little bit of like spark that's still like getting too much oxygen to it.
All right, let's go.
Are the two of you going to sneak in the back? There's no one here now.
You say that,
We're
but
still
I don't
gonna-
believe you.
We're still gonna go like as unnoticed as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and check the traps.
I'm still gonna turn the both of us invisible, just because I can.
We'll come to that in a minute. Hal, Thomas, you are running through the streets with Rolyet. These two suits of armor that, Thomas, you've seen from before are sort of run up from behind. Ahead of you, one of the towers, if you recall, was absolutely destroyed on the way. The collapsed building is down. There's screams and shouts, people putting fires out. As the five of you arrive on the scene, bits of rubble have fallen all over the street, and you can hear screams and shouts as people are moving around trying to lift pieces of rubble out of the way. Up ahead of you, there is a large, looks like a corner of one of these buildings, and there's about 4 bugbears all around it, sort of slowly, gently trying to lift it, and they're screaming from what looks like underneath it, but it's very hard to tell.
It's not Ganesh, is it?
We'll have to look. Okay, so Alvin wants to run up, and if the screaming is coming from underneath the thing, the first thing would be to...
try and help lift.
Yeah, but also spare the dying if the screaming person looks as if they're on their last...
Are you going to sort of drop down to look underneath it to spare the dying? Lovely. As you drop down to the floor, you see there is a hobgoblin, one of Rolyet's sort of slightly more like in charge people underneath. He looks awful, like his face has been partially crushed in places, and there's quite a lot of like blood marks on the side of his face and neck. He looks really unwell.
Yes, so I would like to reach in and touch. What?
just like he looks really unwell. Like, that's such a wonderful like description to what you just described. Like his face is caved in, he's going in blood. He looks unwell.
Desperately unwell.
He's actually diseased.
That's the problem. Yes, it's the cholera that'll get him. Yeah, exactly. That's the one that's going to really do for him.
Sneezes and his nose explodes. Gone.
That's serious rhinoplasty.
Spare the dying is a touch spell. So you're going to reach into underneath the bit of rubble that's being held up. Wow. Okay.
Gonna do that.
Thomas, do you want to
Thomas
run
is... Yeah. Thomas
It's
is helping
really
like
heavy,
foot,
and we're talking like maybe a gap of about that size underneath it. So about your knee.
Thomas size.
I am now sad I didn't go with that party because I could have watched admiringly.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's a tense moment.
Sorry.
It's not the time to be thirsty.
Sorry.
People are dying.
Sorry.
Focus.
Now, do you want to roll an athletics check for Thomas to lift with his brawny arms?
His brawny arm.
Thomas, on the other hand, is very well.
That was not in that one.
No, because you can't roll that ones. Can't from that.
Good.
Come along now.
Unless you roll it twice in a row.
You roll it twice, yeah?
Yeah, it's a 22.
Hey!
You know, I think we all know the scene from Captain America Winter Soldier where he
With the
holds the helicopter onto a helicopter pad. Thomas just does a proper power lift, and the bugbears just, like, one of them even steps back like, okay, as Thomas just
We got this.
across the city, Shivarath knows this is happening. It's Thursday.
Your eye spell just for...
Obi-Wan, what's the matter? It's like 1,000 ships sailed in the night. Suddenly silence. But yes, Thomas basically lifts this and how you can reach underneath and help the hobgoblin, who does look pretty awful, it must be said. Thomas, the other bugbears will help you, and between the 5 of you will lift this piece, not up and over, it's too heavy for that, but sort of up enough so that, Hal, while you're there, you can carefully maneuver this hobgoblin out.
All the hobgoblin's arm out, and then the rest of it.
Ooh, sorry.
I'll save you. No! You left my foot. Yes, you managed to get the hobgoblin out, and Royette will lean down and start speaking in Goblinoid to the hobgoblin, and it has very much, there's a paternalistic quality to this. There are still more people around you screaming and shouting. Is there anything particular you want to be doing in this situation? More of the same, something different, anything in particular of your skills you want to be utilizing?
So, because I have lots of mass ones, because there's Prayer of Healing, which will take 10 minutes, but what I'd like to do, if I can, essentially try and set up a sort of healing area, because it's, I think with Mass Healing Word, for instance, it's up to 6 creatures, so it's the thing of, because I would know how many I can heal at one time, I would want to try and say to people, please bring them all together that I may heal them all at once. And I've got, hang on, let me just have a look.
And Thomas will help with that and
So you'll
scuttle around and bring people to Hal.
I've got one level 3 spell, 3 level 2 spells, 1 level 1 spell, and 1 level 4 spell, but I'm going to keep my level 5 spell just in case. But I'm keen to do, so I can do...
Well, Ed, before you start burning all your spell slots, allow me to continue.
Sorry.
People are brought over. There's lots and lots of people. There are some dead bodies in there. If you have the ability to revive them, you could.
Is Revivify...
3rd level spell slot.
No, I understand, but is that actually a...
Yeah,
that died within the last minute, so I can bring back...
Some of these people probably did die within the last minute, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I can do that at least once.
Okay, hold your horses on that again. I'll give you all the information before you start what you're doing with it.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So, yes. So my idea would be to... because I want to... In which case, I want to Revivify twice, because I've got the potential to do that. This is what I mean. This is ideas that I'm having.
Yes.
Revivify twice, 1 mass healing words, and do that to 6 people to try and stabilize them.
That's 3 3rd level spell slots.
No, sorry. They're 1 4th level with 1 reviv. Oh, no, I can't do that at a different level.
You can use your 4th level to cast Revivify. That's fine. It just doesn't have any added effect. It just works the same way as if you use a 3rd.
Oh, and also, come to think of it, I have actually got, in my 5th level, I have actually got Raised Dead.
Someone died within the last hour or something?
No. It's dead no longer than 10 days.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay. That's your 5th level then. Do you want to use your 5th level?
Well, okay, so this is the thing. I've also got very good medicine checks. So
yes.
I would like to try and prioritize. So particularly if Williet has, as it were, favorites, if they're ones that would mean an awful lot to him, then I would like to prioritize them if they're dead. But if there are people who are, it's stabilizing is the key before deciding who I'm going to actually revivify and stuff like that. But if people can tell me, then I'm keen to bring people back if I can. As
Thomas starts cheering people around you, the helmed horrors will sort of step up and will help with the chivying more than anything else. This way, they can't talk, but will sort of point direction towards you. And also, they appear to be well established as Moriette's bodyguards. And people that look at them and go, "Oh, Jesus, it's a big talking, it's a big statue with red glowing eyes." No, it's very clearly a friend. So there is a lot of understanding that you are creating basically a triage tent at this point.
Yes, that's the noodle triage tent. I like that. Cool.
As you start doing this, there are upwards of about 50 people now coming over, being brought over to you. It's probably more than you can handle.
Yes, it's definitely more than I can heal, but I can, because Spare the Dying is a cantrip, I can keep stabilizing them and then doing medicine checks.
Great. Okay, cool.
Try and bring that back.
I guess once they are starting to kind of gather in slightly overwhelming numbers, Thomas will probably, I guess, run around playing nurse, just doing what he's told. If Halbernet has actually, could you just hold that there?
Yes, exactly. Put some
Then
pressure
Thomas
on the
will help.
tourniquet, and exactly.
But obviously, I mean,
some of the
+1 to medicine, but
some of the goblinoids do clearly have medical abilities, but nowhere near to Hal's extent. So there will be quite a bit of people joining in and helping out with medicine checks and that sort of thing. So your triage tent is becoming quite a sort of operation in and of itself.
Yeah.
You don't see Gnark anywhere. But then again, it's a big citadel. Maybe he's just somewhere else.
Gnark!
Gnark!
Gnark! Gnark!
Alguk's going to be...
Who's Gnark? I mean, I'm concerned about Ganesh.
No.
It is... Okay, I'll put it to you this way. After about 10 minutes of this, and after you recognize that there are many, many, many more goblinoids than just the 50, 60, 70 or so that are now around you, but also you get the point, you get the note, you understand that word is spreading that there is healing over here and people are being brought over here. It's up to you what you do with that information. I'm just telling you.
How are you doing, Hal? Are you all right?
Yes. I think I'm in my element, but I'm going to run out of spells soon. I just don't want anyone to die.
No, I know, but you can only do so much. All right,
that's true. But let's keep going.
Yep.
You're doing brilliantly. Thank you for your help. This is so important.
Just make sure you let me know when you can't do any more. All right.
Yes.
Look after yourself as well.
How, because of the way healing works in D&D.
Yeah.
Stabilizing and medicine checks mean that very few people actually are dying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost impossible because of Spare the Dying and a perfectly decent medicine check. There are some people that were already dead, where bodies have been brought to you, and there's probably about 10, 15 different bodies here now. Mostly bugbears, goblins, kobolds, very few hobgoblins. There's maybe one dead hobgoblin, but the rest look like they've sustained some injuries but haven't been as directly affected. The one who looked like he was about to die, you have saved, but there is one dead hobgoblin as well. But any of the other ones, because of the way that you are triaging so effectively, where they would have lost another 30, 40, 50, they're losing none.
Brilliant.
Without you necessarily expending spell slots because of Spare the Dying and medicine checks.
Yeah.
If you want to be casting healing spells to get people back up on their feet, you can be, but at some point you're going to have to look through the 15 bodies and decide which 2, 3, whatever gets saved.
So that's the thing. So once there's been, so I will have used one. Oh, which one is it going to be? So I want to use the third. Oh, that's really annoying. Yep, I want to use the third. No, I want to use the 4th level spell slot. Sorry, to do a mass. Oh, which one do I want? Yeah, mass healing word.
Okay.
Which will be for 6 people to actually get them back up on their feet.
So they can assist.
Yeah, and I would want that to be the once that's gone out, then there will. Yeah, I think there's, because I've got then 1 revivify and 1 raised the dead. So whilst still trying to triage people, they will want to be asking.
Rolyet is with you through all of this, watching, kind of in awe. Like, they do have some healers, clearly, but not to this extent, and certainly not to this level of ability.
So yes,
because Revivify's only got a timer of 1 minute after they died, so there is some time pressure on Revivify.
That's what I was going to say. So once that's been reached, I will turn around to him and go, there is one person who I can save if they have been dead for only a minute. There is one person who I can bring back from the dead. I very much wish to take your advice on this.
Difficult choice.
It is an impossible choice, I know, but I feel like you are the only person to make it.
He looks at the hobgoblin. then turns and looks through all of the bugbears, goblins, and kobolds, and goes and finds the youngest.
Oh, wonderful.
And there's a sort of relatively young goblin, and he will just go, save this one.
And that will be my Raise the Dead.
No, that's a Revivify. I'm dead for less than a minute.
Great. So that's then both of those. That then is that one. Ooh. And yep. And then and so I cast Revivify on the youngster, and I want the first thing that they see is to the eyes flicker open. You have been given a second chance. Do everything you can to take advantage of it, and then move on.
Royet will take the goblin by the hand and walk with him through this triage space you've set up, and there is also very much people are sort of, it's not cheering and jubilation, it's more of people being happy that he's alive again. There was a very clear, this person is dead and they are now no longer dead, and that is important.
Yes.
And there is a lot of praise, and handshakes is strong, like claps on the back, and people coming together as a collective and appreciation, especially around Moriet, it must be said.
Great.
Thomas, what are you doing through this?
Continuing to help where possible, to be honest. I think there's a small part in the back of his head that is just a little bit alert, just in case anyone gets too
good idea
pushy on Halbernet. If anyone starts to look aggressive, then Thomas will be ready to protect Halbernet. But generally it's just like helping people to their feet or just checking in.
If anyone looked like they were erring on that side of things, you get the sense that Mroyet being there is hindering a lot of what you might term as people's traditional behaviors. Like, if someone is looking and going, I'm going to get the healing I need, Mroyet is clearly not just in charge, people are quite revered.
Cool.
This person is under my, protection is a very clear vibe you're getting off Mroyet at this point as well.
Great.
Great. Well, in which case, Hal, you don't need to use any more healing spells, because they are much more for bringing someone back up again, not for keeping them alive.
Right.
After a good, hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Everyone is as healed as they are going to be, unless you want to start casting healing spells on them to give them hit points, to give them vital essence.
Right. Again, I would be asking if because I do still have the raise the dead one, but I want that to be when everything starts to calm down. So this time. Then
we'll come back to that in a second. That's fine.
Perfect.
Then in which case, if you're working about Thomas, if you're keeping stand nearby, Corey, you're keeping watch, and the two of you are going to sneak into Mroyet's study.